You're watching the Coyote Man Show Relationships. Don't bust my head where it's better to be loved than to get your head busted. Hosted by Ramsey Amadei, Uncle Shelton, and the Coyote Man on the Coyote Man Show Network.
Welcome. Turn my mic up. One, two. Yep. This is the Coyote Man here. Ramsey Amadei is not feeling well at the time. Neither is Shaw. So they are out, and some of the Bust Your Head crew is gone. So it's Uncle Sheldon. It is the Coyote Man. It is Sonji Lucy. And it's the Soul Snatcher. Right?
No snatcher.
This in the house. And today we actually talking about one of our hit shows, She's Not Trendy. She's Not Trendy is an excellent show. Y'all need to check it out. When they start their show off, they started off with a deal breaker. And most of the time, those deal breakers be off the chain. They make you scream. You either screaming because you agree or you're screaming because you disagree, but you're screaming. So it's a good show for y'all to check out. Make sure you go to CoyoteManOnline.com and check out She's Not Trending. You can actually get them on Roku and Amazon Fire TV, on the Coyote Man Show Network, and on your mobile app. So definitely check out She's Not Trending. This is just something to get you more interested in the show. The show is off the chain. Now, we didn't really get into their deal breakers. That's not what we're talking about today. We just cut a couple of pieces out of their video, about 3 of them, where they was talking about the alpha man. They got into talking about the alpha man. This seems to have been going around on the internet lately. So we decided to take one of our popular shows and actually do a reaction video. Now, some of the stuff I agree with, some of the stuff I don't, but either way you take it, the show is very, very interesting. And Tiara and Slim is on the show. The show normally has 6 ladies, but the other ladies had some things that pressing for the company to actually do. You know, I believe they was out on tour, the fair or something, handling some stuff for She's Not Trending, and Tiara and Slim held it down. But let's get into this video. We're gonna react to Alpha One. It's just a little section I cut out.
Is to us.
Okay.
And what the new alpha male is.
Right. So what an alpha male means to me is that someone who's a great leader, right? He's led by God. He's not led by his own understanding. He's not led by what he see out in the atmosphere. He's led by God, a provider. And what I mean by that, I'm not talking about the bags. I'm not talking about the shoes. I'm talking about literally providing a home so the woman can be able to do her work inside the home, right? So he's a provider. He is working his butt off. And when I'm speaking this stuff, I'm speaking it based off experience. I'm not just making this up, right? Because I saw my father do this, and we talk about this all the time, right? And your father did the same thing. But someone who's a great leader, someone who's a provider, and someone has a level of wisdom. Wisdom is like that key point to me. So those are the things, and we can add the little, extra stuff. He got to be stylish. Okay.
Stylish,
but that's my little piece, right? To be able to be stylish, but to be seriously though, but to be well-rounded and a family-oriented man.
Yes.
And understand the focus of the importance of family, right? And the value of family. So that's an alpha male to me, right?
Okay.
And I know in today's time, you see a lot of fluke stuff. You hear all these, and I think Coyote Man said it best. He was just like, you have a lot of hurt alpha males saying, I'm an alpha. And they're just pretty much, they're hurt and they just, crying for attention. But a true family, right? And the value of family. So that's an alpha male to me, right?
Okay.
And I know in today's time, you see a lot of fluke stuff. You hear all these, and I think Coyote Man said it best. He was just like, you have a lot of hurt alpha males saying, I'm an alpha. And they're just pretty much, they're hurt and they just, crying for attention. But a true alpha male to me is those qualities that I just said.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's let's look at that real quick. How do you feel about what she said about her definition of an alpha male, Shelton?
I can get with that. Sound pretty good to me. Yeah, I agree with what she said. That sounds like what he should be. You know, you do got a lot of perpetrators out here. I don't. Yeah, I'm gonna keep that to myself. I ain't gonna say what I would call it, but yeah, it's definitely not, it's some definitely some perpetrators around here. They all too wrapped up in the bull jive, unnecessarily, and it's kind of like, hold up, man, is you alpha or you something else, because you doing something that's unalpha-ish, got going on here. You doing a little bit too much, sitting on the couch letting wifey do all the work type, stuff. Like you talking about how we gonna pay the rent, like. There's something wrong with you. Like you can't, you know what I mean? It's like, hold up, wait a minute.
That's definitely not. That's definitely not.
That ain't it. And the problem is, I mean, it's a lot of hurt mofos out here.
Yes, Lord.
And it hurts their alphaism. It's like it's something that it's certain things that as men folk, we shouldn't feel comfortable with, Now, situations happen, circumstances happen, I understand. We always can't be what we would like and want to be, but we're going to try to make some steps to get to it, It's like, we ain't just going to let it just sit there and let it happen,
Gotcha.
So, yeah, I definitely agree with what she was saying.
Okay, good. We got an agree. Sonja, do you agree or disagree?
Well, I mean, let me turn my mic on. Listen, I don't agree with anything I don't even understand. First of all, where did the term alpha male come from? And from what I understand, the term didn't even really get out there until like the 1990s. And if that's something that was created, then it's under the interpretation of what an alpha male is.
So, how do you feel about what they said?
So I agree with a lot of what she said, and I like to add on something too. And in terms of an alpha male, I feel like, when you're thinking in terms of the household and leadership, right, that alpha male is also going to be confident enough in himself to not feel insecure in his woman pursuing her dreams and goals, and would be supportive of that as well. But on the grand scheme of things, I completely agree with what she had to say in terms of that. And even going to Sonji's point, I am curious because I always thought the word alpha came about to describe the animal kingdom.
Well, this is where I'm gonna get into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think now I agree. Well, what they said from a perspective of that would be a good alpha male.
Yeah.
But let's be clear, right? Yes, it is a such thing called an alpha male, but alpha don't mean good. And I think that's where the confusion is. Like when you have wolves, or you have a let me what?
Elaborate on it because you skipped straight to something else. So according to, as you were saying,
The animal kingdom.
the animal kingdom,
Yeah.
they say originally was used in the scientific research of hierarchy and the social animals. Originally, that's where it came from. And then the term now is often applied to men. And they said that this, was created somewhat around the 1990s.
Well, nature itself, right? There's always an alpha in nature. Human beings are a part of nature, right? So you got God as the alpha and the omega, right? Because he's the head leader. Satan is also an alpha. Alpha is a leader, right? alpha don't mean good. So let's be
Okay,
clear,
so we're breaking
right?
it down from that.
So
Yeah.
you can have a pack of wolves. These pack of wolves might not bite your tail off, right? These pack of wolves might be the protective pack of wolves. These pack of wolves don't give a freak if it's Sunday, Saturday. If you come through there, they're going to rip you apart, right? Both of them have an alpha inside of them. You got an alpha man that believes in Muhammad, Jesus. An alpha man that believes in science. An alpha man that don't believe in nothing. You got an alpha men that only believe in themselves. Alpha don't mean good. It means I'm the leader of the pack. I'm a king, right? Well, you got good kings and you got bad kings.
Yeah.
You got tyrants and you got people who might have to war, but they really want to save the nation. So we can't get confused. Now, it's some people out there that call themselves alphas. They have financial status. They are taking care of their responsibility. And they're leading whatever structure they have. Whether they leading them into hell or leading them to heaven, don't make them less of an alpha.
Okay.
It just makes them a trifling alpha or a good alpha. Alpha don't mean good. It only means that you're in charge of this pack. This pack here.
Right. So, okay, let's just, I guess, look at it just from that standpoint, the leadership. Because that's pretty much what the term alpha is about, leading, right? So if my alpha, right, isn't so much a great person, if we're talking about leadership, because not everybody is meant to lead, should he still have the title of alpha?
Well,
Hell no.
Hitler
I agree.
Hitler was an alpha male.
That I agree.
Hitler was an alpha male, right? We can't say that the man that brought the most vicious army in the world and almost destroyed the whole world, right, wasn't a powerful leader, right? This man was an alpha. He was not good, right? So that's what I'm trying to clear. Now, that don't mean the man that let your whole finances collapse and all that type of stuff like that. He might have been an alpha until they collapsed. You know, like, let me tell you like this, the lion, it might be a lion in the jungle that's an alpha until the other lion show up. And then when that lion show up, he becomes the alpha by taking that alpha down. So alpha is a position. Let me say this about beta. And then I'm gonna go to Sheldon because I hear him trying to say something.
I know he's trying to say something.
Now check this out. You got bad betas, but you got good betas. You got betas that's there to help you with your kingdom, help support stuff. They don't lie. They pretty much, they just ain't interested in being the leader. They not interested in being the general. They not interested in all that because it takes a lot to do all of that. So they wasn't built for that. You know what I'm saying? They not trying to have 4 wives. This guy here is happy with just regular stuff. You know what I'm saying? That don't make them a bad guy. But then you got another beta. He lies about everything because he's trying to get into your pants. He feels that the way to move this about is to lie. He acts like he's a leader. He builds up. He might even appear muscular, but he hides behind his weakness. He's afraid to say his points. That's why he always agrees with yours. And you don't want to be with him because women hate betas, even though they like them as girlfriends, somebody to agree with them, but they don't want them as a man in their house, right? Because they want somebody with leadership skills. So you got a good beta, because on the internet, they just talk about the bad betas.
Yeah.
But you actually got a good beta and you got a bad beta. Beta don't equal bad. You know, it's just me. I ain't trying to do all that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the general that's going to take all those men in there. I ain't trying to be him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm good watching it on the news. You know what I'm saying? That don't make him a bad person. But Sheldon, go ahead.
Oh, no, I mean, I would have to look. Well, I would look at anybody funny if they, I would say, make it. You got bad kings, bad queens. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, it's
yeah.
like you got all that type stuff. So yeah, you be an alpha all day, but you suck. I mean, it's like you know,
Right,
you
right.
lead people the hell with gasoline draws on, but
That's
you
right.
still led them there. Pookie led Tyrone around the corner to get shot up. You know what I'm saying? And Pookie was in charge. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I don't. No, good and bad ain't got. I mean, that doesn't make it academic. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
That's the
Right,
aspect.
right.
It is what it is because you know it's certain things. My daddy is an alpha. He's an alpha. But I can tell you that certain things he'll lead you where you don't want to go.
Yeah.
And you ain't got no business even leading
Yeah,
that
that's-
march.
Yeah, but
Because that ain't your lane. You know what I'm saying? It's like overall, yeah. From far as a household, yeah,
Right.
daddy. All right, cool. But then when it comes down to other stuff like clothes that actually fit you right,
That's right.
Mm.
you know, food that's not going to make you go to the emergency room religiously.
Mm.
Money, you know what I'm saying, from some aspects. Now, granted, you know, I can appreciate his ability to save, but what I don't appreciate is his the epitome of being cheap. You know what I'm saying? It's like because you can't be cheap with everything. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you can't do that. You can't get the dude. Yeah, I'll fix your carburetor. I can fix your carburetor within 5 minutes. 5 minutes, I'll fix your carburetor. You can't get him all the time to be working on your car. You know? Because you're going to be back to him tomorrow for what he did today that messed up your original problem to begin with. Now you got 5 problems instead of 1. You know?
And
Certain things, it just...
my father was an alpha as well. He was a straight up alpha. Ain't no
Yeah.
ifs, ands, and buts about it. You know what I'm saying? He was an alpha and he made everybody submit to his rule. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that his queen was also smart.
Yeah.
You know, like my mother knew how to talk. She could speak. She could say what she needed to say, but she didn't say it like him.
It was her delivery.
And if she got angry, she didn't get angry like him. She got angry in a way that he could understand it.
Right.
You know, she knew not to go man to man for him because it ain't gonna work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He was an alpha for real. You could call the police if you wanted to. He was an alpha for real. All he gonna do is we all going down today, Eva. You called him, don't worry, everybody in the house gonna die. You know? So it's like he was a real alpha. You know? But the thing is, my father could lead you some places you don't want to go.
So let
You
me
know?
comment on something.
Go ahead.
The thing that you said earlier, Shelton, about a king being a bad queen, a king, they dethrone them if they're not. If they
can.
Yeah,
it
but
depends.
It has happened. Just hear me out. It has happened, and in the military, if somebody has high rank and they are dishonorable, they get a dishonorable discharge. So what I'm on, my point is that, okay, yes, you can use your quote unquote alpha powers for good or bad, but that doesn't mean we have to sit there and take that situation if it's going to hurt the masses, if it's going to hurt people.
Most of the time, people don't have a choice. Like say, for example, where Hitler was leading them to, they didn't really have the choice. Where some of our generals said they got weapons of mass destruction. Everybody dies. But they said they got weapons of mass destruction. They didn't told us some people got weapons of mass destruction, drop bombs on these people, and they still ain't found weapons of mass destruction. That's because of the fact that they had the power to do so. That's bad leadership. Saying that it was bombs over there. That's the reason why we're going to kill up all these people. You go over there and ain't no bombs. Right?
So my point is, we're not going to glorify people that are doing bad in high positions. They will go down just like anybody else.
I I understand
Sound
that. I'm
good.
just saying, but when you breaking down, when you
What'd
breaking
say,
down,
sir? I didn't hear you.
It sound good. It
No,
sound good.
they have. I mean,
No,
if the president is
I'm not.
not, mostly we can't even use that because most of them is just.
Oh,
But I mean, it's just things are
we can
set
use that.
up. Would you say, sir?
we can use that.
Right. But if
That's
if they're
prime
in high
example.
ranks, yeah, I'm just saying, if you're in a high rank and you are under leadership, and this is what we're talking about, leadership, if they don't get right, they're gonna get chopped down some kind of way, even if it's not something in place. God will put them down.
we got to remember one more thing about a leader, and then I'm going to turn it over to you. A leader has the right to fail, right? What makes them a leader is the fact that they have the right to fail, right? And as you can see, a president will fail. He's still going to finish all his term unless he do something real dirty to get him caught up, right? And they still get away with it, depending on how much power it is, right?
Not in God's eyes, they don't get away with it.
Maybe not in God's eyes, but God even give you room to fail. If you look at his kings, his prophets, all of them made mistakes, and he gave them room to fail. That made them no less of an alpha. When we just talking about the title alpha, if we wanted to add something to it and say morally right alpha, then we talking about a whole different situation.
And it is, because now I would have to question, okay, if they have the title of alpha and that the number one thing under the term alpha is leadership, if your leadership abilities suck, are you still entitled to that title as alpha?
Well, some people would say that this is why it's so what you want to call it, up in the air. I can't think of the word, because some people would consider Biden as a good leader. Some people hate his leadership. Some people would consider Trump as a good leader. Some people hate his leadership. So who makes that? Like, you see what I mean?
I agree, but when I think of leadership, right? I mean, and I know there are good and bad leaders, right? But I feel like true leadership, right? You're not leading to destruction. That's how
no, not all the time.
I'm saying if you're
that's
you're
your
a
goal.
dedicated leader, right? You're not leading us to destruction. If you're leading for a better way of life or whatever, leading in your community, everything you do is under scrutiny.
Did you attach something to that? You put good again.
Well, I did,
because you gotta remember,
right.
I can lead you to the pipe.
Right, but
I can lead you to the crack pipe. I can actually take several people, right? Put drugs in your community and actually get everybody hung up on heroin.
Is that leadership or menacing?
You had leadership. You wouldn't be able to do that
but
without
I'm saying
leadership.
leader.
You just a tyrant. You are that don't make you, like, it didn't make Hitler not a good leader. That in order to do what Hitler did, you had to be a good leader. But Hitler was a terrible person.
Would you say he was a good leader or charismatic with weak-minded men?
The whole world must have been weak-minded, because let's still to Satan. Satan is no pushover. Satan is one of the smartest angels there are, but he is one of the wicked. You see what I mean? So
Coyote Man. And Miss Beautiful Jackie, Queen Jackie. All right, so I got a good example.
Okay.
Hitler is gonna make me kill myself. Not literally, but I have a good example. Like when you're questioned by the police, right? They always looking for the leader of this organization of crime. You know what I'm saying? Who is the person in charge? That's the one we want. We don't want all the people at the bottom.
Right.
We want the one that's in charge of the whole thing. Rather it's good, we know it's bad.
Right.
But they want them and they'll do whatever it takes. They do all kind of stings and undercovers to get to that one guy that's in charge that is, as you say, the menace.
And what would be the alpha? Because you got to think about this. Good and bad can good and bad. Harriet Tubman was good to us. she was a terrorist to the United States of America. So the United States of America, look at her. This is a bad thing.
Because she went against what they stood for. And I get that example, but at the end of it all, she was still a good leader because of the many people that she led to freedom. But she went against policy. That's why they deemed her a terrorist.
But some of the people that got shot in the tail for following her that would have rather stayed at the plantation didn't agree with us.
There's a price for freedom.
Yep.
I mean, you have to ask yourself, is the price worth it?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think best way I could probably say it, it's like a double. It's a different meaning. It's like there's a difference between a good leader and somebody good at leading. There's a difference.
I like
that.
So
the aspect is like, yeah, I could be good Pookie because I can lead you straight to the loot. I can lead you straight to the that good stuff, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. I ain't supposed to. That's not what I'm supposed to do, but I'm good at reeling you into it. I'm good at that. You know what I'm saying? So, but then you got somebody who stray you away from that, who follows God, like, yo, I'm not giving that poison to my peoples and blah blah blah, so on and so forth.
Good.
You got people that's going to follow him. You know what I'm saying? So because the aspect of being a leader is just having followers.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like now, it's left under to how you use that, whether you are a good leader or you're good at leading.
So in that thought, right? If wolves was men, and the police to use Sonji view, if the police pulled up on these wolves, if they was men, they want to know who's the alpha. Right? They don't care if the wolves are good or if the wolves consider themselves fighting the power. Which one of y'all is the ones that's controlling the rest of these?
The followers.
The followers. So I think, like, from dissecting this down, I think our morals get caught up in this because we're moral people.
Yeah.
So we want to attach morality to a word that means leader when Satan say, I'm alpha too. Matter of fact, besides God, you take me. Besides God, let the alpha come to get me, right? You don't have no juice going against him if you ain't God, right?
And that was my whole point when I said that they can be whatever they want to be, but they still at the end of the day going to have to answer to God. That's, because we can't judge them. But at the
that's
end
above
of the
my
day,
pay grade.
Yes,
because he is not an alpha. He is the alpha.
Right.
And that's where he ain't just a leader. He the leader.
Right.
So that's when things change. You know what I'm saying? You can call yourself God. Jesus said, "Ye are all gods, children of the Most High God." He said, "I'm the God." So it's a difference.
Yeah.
Even God said, "Satan is the ruler of this world, but I am the ruler."
Right,
so that's when we're gonna go on to the second question. But I think we dived into that.
Yeah, I think we did pretty good with that.
And the power that we have and who we are as a person and a human being,
Right.
to be silenced. I'm not talking about being disrespectful. I'm talking about to be silenced because this man feels like he has it all figured out. That's not really a partnership, right? That is like somebody that just wants somebody to say, look at me, I have all of these options, and you lucky that you're with me because I have so many options for women, right? I think this new alpha male is hurt little boys. I think they need healing. And I think that they are very misconstrued. And I think that they are not protecting women. They are out to hurt women. I listened to this one alpha male. He's been out for a long time now.
Okay.
And he talked about never validate a woman, never compliment a woman, never hold the door open for a woman. And he has millions of followers.
Who raised him?
And the sad part about it, he's hurt. He talks about how to make women become obsessed with him, okay? And the sad part is that he's hurt, but so are the women that would even get dressed, beautify themselves,
Right.
go out on a
Right.
date with him, and he not even compliment you. and then he's trying to have sex with you.
That is sick.
It's sick. It's
sick.
Really sick, right? It's really sick. And then
Okay, let's get into this. Now I'm gonna break this apart a little bit before we jump deep in.
Okay.
All right. I know the gentleman they actually talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And the gentleman that they're actually talking about, he runs a platform where he teach men that want to get with these women that like 10s that don't have access to them, how to get with them, right? So these women that he's talking about, right, are women that on the other side, they're trying to find men for the bag, right? So you got, it's more or less the gold digger versus how do I deal with her? So he says, don't give him no affection. Don't blah, blah. Don't become like what we used to call a herb or herb. I forgot the name of it, but the F boy or whatever.
Right.
Don't become like that because she's going to mistreat you, right? So he teaches these men that's actually really just after being able to have access to these women to have sex with them. And then a lot of these men are upset because this gentleman has no problem with getting women.
Yeah.
He has his finances together. He has his shape together. A quite intelligent dude, but he says these things. This helps his platform financially. And he says these things that is actually true in a sense of if your aim was just to have sex with these 10s that's after your money, this is the road that you should take to get there.
Right.
This is not a moral road. That is not a good road. Is this guy an alpha? Yes. He has millions of people who actually follow him. Is this a good alpha? No. But I think in this sense, the men that are actually following him are following him for the reason that, man, I want access to these women. You got to remember that the average man, I forgot the statistics exactly, the average man don't even have sex but once a year. The average man, right? He don't have access because all women want the same guys. So it's like he don't get a chance to actually be with these other people. He's watching, he's window shopping, right? So here come this guy come along. They see he has no problem getting women. Sir, like, how do you do it?
Yeah.
You know, how I can't get these 10s and you got 4 10s, you got 3 of them on your shoulder. Do I think they said it was sick? Do I think it's sick? Yeah, because at this point, you know, when you get at different stages of your life, you know what I'm saying? A lot of his people that he talking to is at a young stage of their life.
Right.
Where they still fishing for these women. And the women that they're fishing for are women that's also fishing for men that have these luxury cars and, you know, that lives this type of life. The reason why women deal with him because they already devalued themselves on a let's say on a value level.
Yeah.
And the reason why they devalue themselves on a value level because women don't actually know what men value. Right? And they believe that men value what they value.
Right.
So being that women believe that men value what they value, they hold men to their standards.
Absolutely.
And we don't function like that. Even though I agree that the information is being given to these men are wrong. But you got to look at the men and women that's participating in this.
Right.
The average a mosque-going woman, church-going woman, a woman is not in the club. They're not participating in this. The boss chick is participating in this. She's the 10. Right. You know what I'm saying? She's the one walking around, boom, boom, boom. Yeah, you can't mess with me unless I'm like this. So that man sees this woman, the same woman that would not speak to him, the same woman that would not dance with him, the same woman that would walk past him because he was just an ordinary man. So now he develops a certain amount of bitterness towards this woman that wouldn't even turn her eye at him. So now I'm going to use this woman. If I get a chance, I'm not going to open up the door for her because when I opened up the door for her, she looked at me terrible. She considered me a good guy. and looked at me bad because I represented myself as a good guy. I'm not going to pull my chair forward, because when I pulled the chair, I was looked at as a F-boy. I wasn't looked at as a gentleman or what I was actually striving to be. This is what's happening to these hurt people. And hurt people hurt people.
Absolutely.
So now they just going around hurting each other because they've been hurt. See, women are born with their value. They're born with the value. The man has to earn his value.
Right.
So from the time the woman is a little girl, she got everybody on earth trying to F you. No man knows what that feels like.
Right.
Because by the time he's a little boy, he has to do something. Because if he don't do something, nobody won't pay him no attention. He'll be a fly on the wall. He'll watch everybody else success. He'll watch everybody else happiness. But women won't even give him a glance of attention when she didn't have attention, too much attention, from the time that she was just a little girl.
Right.
So we just got to level this thing out. Look at this thing. It's wrong any way you take it.
It is wrong in any way you take it. And I even have to go back to, okay, we're talking about the average man going after the 10, right? Because I think sometimes I always say sometimes we shop in a market that's a market we shouldn't be in, right?
Oh, exactly. For both sides.
For both sides, right? Because even the 10, if you get that man of value that you feel like you deserve, are you right for him? Are you right within? You know what I'm saying? Can you hold that man? I think we've gotten so far apart from connecting, right? Because we're not being honest with ourselves. We say we want this, but then what value can we bring to this person that we're asking for?
Now that value, and I want to hold you right there. I want to go back to what I told you at first. The reason why we can't step to the value is because we don't know what men value.
And I get that point.
So what happens is a woman will say, well, a man, I got so much intelligence, or I got so much money, I bring this to the table.
Right.
She don't know the man don't give a darn about your intelligence, and he don't give a darn about your money. Do that mean that he don't care that you're smart? No, that's not what it means. It means that he's not shopping for that. That's not on his list.
Right,
when he look on his list, it don't have nothing to do with that. You could be at McDonald's pushing fries. He gonna be like, okay, her hair's like this, her voice is kind of like this, blah, blah, blah. He's thinking that as much as he's jumping into your personality as he's hearing how you react to him.
Yeah.
So if you're shooting out your intelligence, because I'm smart, I can help you, but you off the list.
Right.
He don't want you.
And it's not so much that you're intelligent, it's the energy that you're
Exactly.
not walking into your feminine energy.
Exactly.
You've already alienated yourself from the man that you want.
Because he'll do anything you say if you stay in your feminine.
Exactly.
If you say, you know what? I think we should do it like this.
Yeah.
But you the man. We can go ahead and do it like that. But being that you putting it like that, he'll be like, well, what you was talking about?
Yeah.
So you saying blah, blah. Because you're not infringing in his area. Use Sheldon, for example. Me and Sheldon been in business for a long time. I done did a lot of crazy stuff. I done did stuff that Sheldon don't even know how in the hell, you know what I'm saying, we pulled off, right? And still probably could tell you he don't know how in the hell, right? And I don't know how in the hell. But I would say to Sheldon, I'd be like, hey, Sheldon, we should do this. We're going to do this and this and this and this. Now, even if it sounds ludicrous, because I told him we're going to be all over Fox in 3 months. So imagine telling somebody that we're going to be all over Fox in 3 months. Don't have no explanation for it, nothing. You just say that. So Sheldon is a common sense type dude. He ain't going to come at me and be like, yo, we ain't doing this, you acting stupid. You know what I'm saying? He'll say something like, okay, I really don't know how we gonna do that.
Right.
But maybe we should do this and this because we gotta do this now. And if I say, yeah, you right, boom, 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 boom. But if I say, nah, Sheldon, we really gotta do this, he'll be like, all right, let's do it. It ain't no I told you so, ain't no nothing.
Right.
He just completely do it. I don't know what was in him to make him like that. But I heard the minister say one time, he said, I thank God, the messenger said that I was made for him, right? And I always think that Sheldon was like made for me. Because he could have easily have been like, no, Coyote, that's stupid.
Yeah.
But he didn't choose to do that. And then he saw some things. Then God allowed me to accomplish some things where he was like, yo, I'm just taking a ride. We did it again.
Right.
You know, but just imagine if he was not my cheerleader, he was my Doubting Thomas. Maybe we wouldn't have did nothing.
Right.
You know, and Sheldon, I'll let you take it from there, just talking about what we talking about.
Well, my mentality is, I think for a long time, been, in the words of my favorite comedian, Bernie Mac, what the fuck am I trying to prove here? It's like, we ain't keeping score or nothing. I'm gonna be right sometimes, you're gonna be right sometimes. Okay. Long as we ain't killed, I'm good. Long as we ain't walking right into the fire. They're like, you know, because I'm like, you know, we can't handle fire, Coyote. I'm just saying, I don't know how that's gonna be for my skin. That might cause a little problem. I don't know. That's gonna be hard to get a date on Friday night if I got 3rd-degree burns. I don't know. But outside of that, it's like, okay, you know, well, I see this. You see that? Okay.
And Sheldon done said some common sense stuff. He didn't say, man, I can't figure out how we gonna get down that hill with the camera without hitting the rock?
Right.
It's like, we don't have no rigs. We don't have nothing. I say, Sheldon, I got it all figured out. And I jumped down the hill with them, rolling with the camera. He ain't actually liked the trip, but afterwards, we got the footage.
Right.
He was like,
and if you want to roll down the hill with me, I really can't say too much.
That's right.
Because you got a lot of mofos be like, yeah, y'all go down the hill. I'm going to stay right here.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
We did some things.
We definitely did some things.
We did some things. But going in that, he allowed me to lead.
Right.
He allowed me to fail. If I failed, we was on to the next thing.
Right. Because it was a partnership.
It wasn't no, we not having no big discussion about failure. Oh yeah, I told you this, but what is he trying to prove here?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What are you trying to do? Everybody, the person who made the light bulb had 1,000 and some experiments before he made the light bulb. Ain't nobody talking about, oh yeah, I remember when you was at 99 though. They're not having that conversation because nobody cares. All they care is that the light bulb was made.
Right.
You fell forward. He still was a good leader. Are you gonna say that the guy that made the light bulb ain't a good leader because he failed 1,000 or sometimes? Nobody talks about his failures. So we even when we measure leadership, in order to put a sun out there, it had to be some adjustments made. Adjustments is missteps. Okay, no, I gotta shoot it a little bit further. You know what I mean? What we might look at as a mistake is just a mathematical complication that gotta be solved, right? So leaders, you got good leaders, you got bad leaders, but either way you take it, even a leader doing bad or good, it takes levels of understanding to get to that bad or good, right? So it's like that's what we talking about here. And getting back into talking about the alpha, when I looked at the gentleman that we're talking about here, he wasn't like a Kevin Samuels, you know, even though Kevin Samuels and him was cool, right? But Kevin Samuels was like about marriage.
Yeah.
He wanted to put marriage together. And when he rated women, he didn't rate them because of the fact is he was just rating women, and women ain't just call him because they was insecure. Women called him because they was trying to get with the tens of men.
Right.
They was trying to get with his boys, with his clique. And he pretty much said, if you want to get one, like I got boys. I know if you want to get one of our boys, You can't be a scallywag from Scallywagville, right? So I know what it takes to get with my boys. So if you was to ask me, okay, what it take to get with my boys, I would say, okay, do you scratch people's cars up? I would have my list, right?
Okay.
I would have my list, right? Do you always gotta, I would be able to break this down.
Right.
Kevin, they want to get with the 1% of men. The 1%, all women, whether they work for it or not, whether they the white weight, whether they the right anything, they want the 1% of men. So that means if you want the 1% of men, what do you think about the average man?
Right.
The average man, you don't think he's anything. So Kevin Samuels was from the point, okay, you want this man that you're talking about? You want my boys? Okay, I'm going to tell you, if you want my boys, how much do you weigh? Are you feminine? What are you without makeup on? I'm telling you what these type of men, and then Kevin Samuels would say, what's wrong with an average man?
Exactly.
He said, when you look around the world and you see white people, most of the time you see an average white person with an average white person. You see a fat person, you see a fat person with a fat person. We're the only people in our community that is totally delusional.
I would agree.
You know, what would it be? Me thinking I'm supposed to be with a 10 working at McDonald's. You know, the 10 is going to care that you work at the McDonald's. Why? Because you can't afford to get her nails done. You can't afford to take care of her feet. It's a reason why she's a 10.
And are they a 10 just based on looks? I mean, because I think it's more to that.
It starts with looks.
Yeah.
It starts with looks because men are visual, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So it starts with looks. We start right at the looks because he's visual.
Right.
And then it gets to feminine, submissive, cooperative, and fit. Feminine, submissive, cooperative, and fit. All of that. Well, let me give it. Beautiful, feminine, submissive, cooperative, and fit. That is for a man of means.
Right. So if it's just based on visual, right? You're not going to know if that person is going to be submissive just based on looks.
From the start, that's his first thing he sees.
Right.
Because if he don't see what he want to see, he would never know if you're feminine, because he ain't even going no further than that.
Right.
Right?
Got to get in the house first.
Got to get in the house first. But once he's in the house, he's going to listen. When he talk, do you need to talk at the same time? He's going to check out, are you feminine? Or are you out of bounds?
Right.
You know, a man can be out of bounds and a woman can be out of bounds. Man start putting his hand on you, he out of bounds. A man's doing too much, he out of bounds. You doing too much trying to raise up to him, you out of bounds. You thinking you want to prove to him that you can outthink him?
Yeah.
You're not even thinking like the ancient women did. They didn't prove to them men that they could outthink him. Even if they could outthink him,
have to.
they would baby, I think, didn't you say we should do this?
Right.
They was very clever because they knew he had an ego. They wasn't trying to destroy his ego, because if you destroy the ego of a man, you didn't destroy the man.
Absolutely.
And you wouldn't even want him without the ego. You might as well throw him in the trash can. He can't do nothing. He won't even protect you.
Right.
The ego is not only the thing that irritates you, it's also the thing that protects you. His ego is the thing that make him be like, ain't nobody coming through that door. That's also that. The same thing that might get on your nerve that you might call arrogance is the same thing that will protect you if somebody come through that door.
Tell it. That's what I'm talking about.
So
I get
going
tired.
back to the average, right? We're still talking about the market that someone should be shopping at, right?
The average man doesn't deserve a 10. An average man deserves an average woman. And an average woman deserves an average man.
But that average, even the average woman, right, could very well be a 10 in that average man's eyes.
That's beautiful,
Yeah.
but they just not a 10 in the sexual marketplace, because the sexual marketplace is a real rating system. It's not delusional like I'm a 10 because I want to be. No,
Right,
it's
my
like
point.
no.
Yeah.
If you don't have this, and this, and this, and like, all right, it is a such thing as not being tall, right? I could be 5'5", be like, well, I'm tall in my eyes. Yeah, that's your truth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But in the reality, amongst the people that's living, right, amongst the people that still deals on facts, you 5'5", you short, right?
But that 5'5" could be great for someone else.
I ain't saying it ain't great.
No, I know.
But you short.
Yeah.
You short. Let me break it down to your
short.
terms. He only has 3 inches.
Mm-hmm.
You see, you can swallow that a little bit better. And he,
If I chose,
if you chose to,
if I chose to,
and that might not be
don't laugh
necessary.
at that, Shelton.
That might not be
That's
necessary.
not nice.
That might not be necessarily what measures up to what you can actually deal with.
Yeah.
Now he can say, Jackie, but I feel like I'm a 9.
And I'm gonna make him feel like he's a 9.
Go ahead, girl.
Come
I'm
on.
just saying.
Go
Come
ahead.
on, you
Because
tell it.
I
You tell
value
it
that
what
man.
you
It's
said.
just not
Tell
in
it.
his packaging.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So Jackie, that means that you're not going after the 10s. You still would deal with an average man.
I still would deal with an average man.
I'm
I'm okay with
point.
that because I'm okay with me.
Now, check
Yeah.
this out. I'm not telling you that once you get this average person, this average person don't become your 10.
Exactly.
I'm just saying that in the reality of the sexual marketplace,
Right.
it is, the woman that you could spray her down with water and she don't have a drop of makeup on, and we all know her.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? We know her. She don't even got to do her hair. We know her. We know the one that carved up. It looked like, God spent extra time shaving this, carving this thing together. We know what this is.
Yeah.
That don't mean that this person has a beautiful personality. So what happens is they start off as a 10,
Absolutely.
if they like that. When they open their mouth, you got me effed up. They come to a 7. They come to the 7.
Right.
If the man is talking and they can't they drop down to a 6. Right? Because it's not that the fact that you can't communicate with your person, you just got to communicate with them properly.
Yeah.
A lioness do not communicate with a lion the same way as boys do.
Right.
Because nobody is messing with you to mess with his boys.
And that's what I say. I say this a lot. I don't want to be a man. And I think a lot of times coming off having a strong personality, right? You still don't have to, I don't have to be at you, It's all about my delivery and how I'm, how I present things to you. But if I'm rah-rah, then you're going to look like, oh, this is my homeboy. Instead of your woman.
And we got to understand the word.
I don't want to be a man.
We got to understand the word partnership.
Right.
Me and Sheldon was partners, but I was the CEO.
Yeah.
So we ain't had no relation. This is 2 men.
Right.
And we didn't have the relationship that he felt that he needed to challenge me.
Right.
Right? He didn't need to make me feel less than a CEO.
Right. Yeah.
And he was a very, very, and still is a very, very smart guy.
But the two of you understood your roles.
We understand it. We understood our roles.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it without him.
Right.
I couldn't do it without him. Ain't no doubt about it. You know what I'm saying? Just like Sonja here now, I can't do it without her.
Right.
Had to push her on the pedal. It's like me and Sonja had to balance out. We had to figure out, okay, where this go? Because Sonja was used to ruling. She was used to being this alpha dominant, and it can only be one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now you can aid, but you can't drive the steering wheel while I'm driving the steering wheel. The car gonna crash. Indeed. I can't be saying we're gonna turn this way. No, I think we should turn. It just don't work like that.
Work, right? And I always say this: we've forgotten our roles in these relationships, and that's why so much unbalance.
Actually, we took God clean out of the relationship unless we want him there.
So we want him there when it's bad.
Yeah, so we'll say, like God ain't say, you can love her as long as she's doing what is right. So if you understand what love is, that means provide, protect him, right? So that means we gotta protect her even if she's being a scallywag, right? We got to protect her, even if we know she just said something out her mouth the other day. She should be able to protect herself, but we still got to protect her. That's not going to make us have emotion for her, though.
Right.
Her value is going to drop in our eyes, but we still need to protect her. God didn't say that you can respect us when we do things like this. No, you have to respect him. You picked him.
Right.
He's sorry though. You picked his sorry behinds.
Mhm.
Like I picked some sorry people in my life, and I had to go through terrible, 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 terrible circumstances. Right. And I don't have nobody to blame for that but myself. I can't blame the person for that. Yeah, they was terrible, but I can't blame them for that. It was something in me that was broken enough to choose that person. Right? Just what it is.
Right.
It's just what it is. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a commercial break, and then we're gonna actually come back and listen to the last reenactment, and then we're gonna get back with the She's Not Trending.
Okay.
We must secure our families. KFG Life Insurance Specialist is a company that partnered with 15 of the top life insurance companies to ensure you get the best pricing, knowledge, and products to suit your family needs. Some people believe that term insurance is better than whole life insurance, while others feel the complete opposite. Some may feel like universal life is the way to go, and others may feel it's better to have a whole life policy. The truth is, neither of the products are better. One just may be more suitable for your family. Our life insurance specialists are not biased, as they are partnered with several life insurance companies. This ensures our clients get the best pricing, education, and products that are suitable for their families. Let KFG Life Insurance Specialist make these decisions easier for you and your family. Our office is located at Security Square Mall, next to Burlington, in the CoyoteMan Show Network. Please call to make an appointment at 443-400-5224 or go to www.lifeinsurancespecialist.org. That's www.lifeinsurancespecialist.org. Let KFG Life Insurance Specialist help you prepare your family in the present, because the future is not promised. Act now.
You're watching the Coyote Man Show Relationships. Dog plus my head where it's better to be loved than to get your head busted. Hosted by Ramsey Amadei, Uncle Shelton, and the Coyote Man on the Coyote Man Show Network.
Tester 1 2. Yeah, we back in the house. Yeah, before we go to the next one, we just gonna touch a little bit on when she spoke about women not being able to speak. So even though I believe there is a certain way that they should speak, I definitely don't believe that you should be there with somebody that don't have nothing to say. You know, that would be kind of like crazy. And in my view, a lot of times I don't see that women cannot speak. It's just that I just see that the way that they speak is inaccurate. You know, but that's not all cases. You know what I'm saying? You might have a guy that's like overbearing and you know, he might feel like she might be going off of this guy and the way that he expresses himself and say that he wouldn't want to hear anything a woman has to say. And in that case, I would think that is wrong.
So when she made the point that women, we don't have to bow down or live in silence, my reaction to that is, it doesn't matter who I'm in a relationship with. I have a voice, but I don't have to be confrontational to be disagreeable. You know what I mean?
Come on.
I can drive my point home without creating a big commotion, because if I come at him, ready to argue, he's not going to receive anything that I say, because of how I'm delivering it. Right. I could deliver it in a way where I know he'll receive it more. He'll be more receptive to my point of view. So I'm never going to be silent in a relationship. And if you feel like in a relationship you have to be silent because you have an alpha male, then I would argue that's not the relationship for you.
Yeah, and that's not necessarily an alpha male.
Yeah.
Alpha male will listen to a person if they express themselves a certain way.
Exactly.
An alpha male is not listening to yourself if you express yourself as an alpha, because if you express yourself as an alpha, now both of y'all have to fight over who's alpha. Right? So that's simple, you know? So if you express yourself the right way, you don't have to fight over who alpha. He knows who alpha is, and you know who alpha is, and now he's taking in counsel. Hey, that makes sense. Blah, 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 blah. It's just a fact of the aggression there. And as far as the bow down, I believe you should bow down. Why? Because I'm bowing down when I'll risk my life if somebody come through that door, coming through. Who you think is taking a bullet? If we on a ship, who you think that's getting saved with the little tugboat leaving out of there, and they asking for women and children, and my tail is bowing down on that ship sinking?
But when she, in her context of bowing down, she's saying bowing down in a sense where there's no voice. The woman has no voice. And that's not, I don't think that's the relationship you should be in.
You should
but
be
that's
in.
the context that she said that.
Yeah, so if she said in that context, but I believe you should be bowing down.
Well, let me speak for a female, because only a female can speak in regards to another female speaking in regards to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I heard what you're saying, Jackie, but I'm not sure if I'm being heard properly. But when it comes to your voice being heard, it's in some cases, and not a whole lot. And what she's saying is these women can't speak, period. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if your opinion is not the same as his opinion, there's no need to speak. You can't have a difference of opinion because your opinion's supposed to be the same as his. So that's the bowing down, and then that's the no voice. Now, what's the point if y'all have the same, y'all agree with everything? What's the point of speaking? Most of the time you speak if you have a difference of opinion. So if I agree, okay, we're gonna eat this tonight, well, why are we still talking about it? But if I say, no, I would like to, let's try something different. You know what I'm saying? But she's saying you can't even have a voice at all of a difference of opinion, because you're going to be looked at as being argumentative, and a presentation can be feminine. It can be at a low voice, a low level, or in a feminine energy. It's the point that the person is not saying what you're saying. So therefore they don't have a voice, because if my voice have to be your voice, you don't know what's going on inside of me. What's the point of me even telling you if you're not going to receive? And vice versa. So I mean, in some cases men don't have a voice. I don't want to hear what he has to say. No, how? That's the man not having a voice, because I know he's not going to agree with me. So what's the point of me hearing what you got to say? So
that creates a divide between you. A big divide. And it builds. Then it manifests in a way that it begins to be uncontrollable, because you've held all of this inside because you felt like you didn't have a voice.
And most of the time, like I say, I can't say all of the time.
It can go both ways.
I can't say all of the time, but most of the time, right? Is from improper communication. Because one thing that you can go by is nature, right? People lie, but nature don't, right? When you can see, a lot of people think that they're saying it right, but they're not, and because the tones are naturally set to even set an animal off, right? If something is said in the wrong tone, you can even make a dog do something that he wouldn't have did. You can make a cat do something that they wouldn't have did. So how we express the tones, even the man tone, how these tones are expressed pretty much dictate how this conversation goes. Because if y'all both agree, y'all both can build. Y'all are just building on it. If y'all disagree, she could be like, well, yeah, I disagree because of so and so and so and so. And if he say, well, no, we should do it like this because of so and so and so and so and so, one of y'all have to make the final decision. And you elected him CEO, or he don't need to be your man, right? Now, if he make that final decision and it don't go right, but you stay in your feminine, he might say, you know what? Be talking to his boy. You know what? Shirley told me that this thing gonna crash in the wall, but what she say after crashing the wall? Well, she ain't really say nothing. She ain't like that. You know what? Next time, I'm just gonna listen to her. That is the process, right? If she step in his world, I told you, she stepped in his, man, that thing ain't, that thing is over. It's just like if he step in her world. Like say if all of a sudden he's supposed to be the protector, right? And like I told you, somebody bang at the door, boom, 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 boom. And he jumps up in the air and jumps into her lap and say, please save me.
Oh, he ding ding.
He
ding ding.
She gonna lose her mind because he just stepped
right
into her world.
I'm holding him.
And he,
you know what I mean?
He's crying. And he's literally shaking. He's literally shaking. Matter of fact, it's so bad that he runs back in the back of the room. I'm gonna tell you something I was gonna say doing stand-up, right? I was gonna say this doing stand-up, but it was something I thought about. I was saying that the woman said to me, you know, that she wanted to be in my role, right? So I said, okay, we can switch roles. You know what I'm saying? And she said, okay. So what I did was I said, listen, when you get home, she said she get home 6 o'clock. I said, okay. So around 4:30, I already cut the onions up and everything with the food and everything like that. At about 5 o'clock, I took the lemon fresh, air fresh and the thing, sprayed it all over the house, even make sure I was cleaning all day, dusted off everything right, got the food running in there, waiting for her to come in, got the bath water running. I done got myself into something a little sexy, laying on the bed with half of nothing on, got her show on. I'm cool as I don't know what. Got her a show on. She ain't got to worry about watching my show. We gonna watch your show. Right? I'm gonna do any nasty thing you want me to do. And the water gonna be running, everything good. I don't gotta work all day. I don't gotta do nothing. Oh, I just gotta work for your business. Oh yeah, everything good, right? Now, but it still goes on. So if somebody knocks at the door, boom, 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 boom. I'm thinking like I'm her.
Right.
Because if I was her, I would tell her, baby, go in the back, lock up the door. Right? And don't let me in. Let me handle this. Right. That's what I would tell her. So I ran in the back.
Yeah.
I ran in the back, locked the door, and left her out there. And she said, what am I supposed to do? I say, open the door. And I said the thing that I know she would say. You're the man. Because at that part, if she ain't never remember, she remembered it then, right?
Yeah.
So she opened up the door and they beat the living shit. I mean, they beat the shit. You know what I'm saying? Out of her, right? And I mean, are you okay? Are you? She said, get out of here. You're supposed to be the man. I said, no, you supposed to be the man. See, women don't understand stuff until you go to the extreme. Yeah. And jump into their role. If you jump into their role, they have finally understand, I don't want to be in your role.
Some women can handle their own though when it comes to stuff like that.
Please, don't get that ass whipped. If a whole bunch of men.
I mean, I'm just saying.
We not talking about.
No, I'm not trying to be argumentative.
Yeah.
I'm saying the average man can't even handle that. So why would you put that on the female? But I'm just saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Can protect themselves though. You know what I'm saying?
They wouldn't have been able to protect themselves against that.
They're not gonna open the door. Why would they?
No. This is what I'm saying.
First of all,
I would have got my butt
back
whipped.
there with you.
I would have got my butt whipped. Right?
I'll put out the back door.
That's what I'm saying.
All,
they at the back.
In my skit, your big down or any down of mine is not going to no door for no slaughter. First of all, we hiding in the attic.
But see, that's the reason why things got to be in order. Because that's not a decision she can make. Because the male is thinking, okay, this is how this thing works. They know somebody in here. Right? I can get her safely out. That's what I'm supposed to do. I can get her safely locked behind something. But if I lock myself behind the same thing that she's locked behind, they are coming in there, right? And if they come in there, I'm more vulnerable next to her than I am by myself. I'm a monster by myself. Because I don't got nobody to protect but myself. She might not even have heard all the stuff or how violent. I might die, but it's gonna go out in flames.
Please, Coyote, I know you gonna poke him in the eye.
I'm gonna do some stuff. But the thing is, I might not live. But next to her, I'm not the same monster that I would be by myself. Because I have to protect her. Like, so let's get into like the outer order real quick, and I think we ain't listened to the last one. We didn't listen to the last part. If a person is out of order, they'll get you, they'll get you killed. Right? Because if they can't obey an order, like make this move, you need to go behind this, blah, blah, blah. Protection is my role. If they can't obey this order, they might just get us killed.
That's absolutely.
You know, so it gotta be a time.
I'm debating. And I'm supposed to be hiding.
That's right.
We're done.
That's right. Yeah. Sometimes you only have a couple of seconds to think out a whole plan, and you just need somebody to submit.
You have to do some drills.
Yeah, we're gonna start off now. Shut up.
We gotta do some fire drills.
We have to do some fire drills. Some Negro drills.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, play that last one real quick.
Me personally, I'll grab a frying pan. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Right. Why would you want to be with somebody who you don't respect what they have to say, or you think that, you know, I mean, because to me, that's like a puppy. You know what I mean? Like, that's a child. So I think that's a sickness there. Just like, you know, you have these pedophile men who want little girls that they can just train them up, and you know they can. I want an 18-year-old, I want a 16-year-old, and they're 40 years old.
Right.
It's the same sickness to me.
Right.
You know.
I was having that thought process this weekend too, and I don't know what made it pop in my head, but I was just thinking about why is it that a 40-year-old will be interested in someone that's 20, right? And the first thought that came to my mind was he must be hiding an insecurity. Right? Because someone on his level, now I get it, you know, men want to go down, right? And women want to go up in age, right? But to go from 40 to 20, he has to be hiding some insecurities. And the way to hide it is to be able to be dealing with someone who's less knowledgeable than him. So it's funny that you touched on that, because I was thinking about that this weekend as I was driving. But what I wanted to ask you is that, you know, with all this alpha male, you know, alpha woman talk, do you think that an alpha male and an alpha female can be successful in a relationship?
Yes.
Okay.
I think respect.
Respect.
I think that as long as people have respect and they trust, I don't think, you know, honestly, I don't want to be, I myself, I wouldn't say I'm an alpha female, but I would say that.
Say what now?
I would not say that. And the thing is, like, I don't know. I have never really thought about putting myself in a category. I'm not a person that categorizes myself or people, but I would
think
say
you're a very strong woman too.
I would say that I am a strong woman, and I have strong thoughts, processes, opinions. I have strong beliefs, and they need to be valued. Right. But I can also compromise those thoughts and those beliefs, right, to see somebody else's. And I think that in a partnership, I don't expect to agree with everything that person would bring to the table. Right. But I think that there's a respect of.
Okay, let's get into the first thing. Okay, they did a survey around the whole world, and I believe I might be having the estimate wrong as far as where they started from, but I think it was like 25 to 70. I might be wrong. And they asked men, 25 to 70, when do they find women the most attractive? And it's between the ages of 23 and 25. Period. So I just wanted to start off there because we would have to consider most of the people in the Bible mess with insecure women, you know, because they got women young. You know, when they went back after, we would have to consider most kings like that. Most guys, when they turn 45, 50, they just ran into their finances. And most of them wind up with a 23 to 25-year-old, 29-year-old, right? This is what they, do they want somebody they can mold? Yes. You know, a man wants somebody that's in the image of himself. You know, that's why you get his last name, because not that he don't want you to have a mind, but he wants you to become one, right? So that's the whole process. If you get somebody too old, and now I'm not talking about age, I'm talking about if you get somebody too old in their minds, they already set. Like I think I heard Kevin Samuels say this one time. He said, if you mess with somebody too old, they done did everything, then been everywhere. He said, so a 1% guy, he said he wants to get with this new girl. She ain't even been to Miami. So it's like when he take her somewhere, she excited. You know what I'm saying? And a man wants you to be excited about where he take you to. He don't want to be like, hey, you want to go to Bahamas? I already been, but you want to go to Jamaica? I already been, but I'm going to buy you a house. I already had one. You know, it's nothing that you could get this person that excite him. So you think somebody is going to fight to become the 1% of men and going to pick from a group of people that you're not excited about anything? And I'm not talking about the extreme, because you can find somebody older that don't have an old mind. I'm just saying when you're talking about, not talking about the extremes, and you're talking about average, right? Most men that reach to that level is not going to pick somebody that a person that has not reached to that level would pick. They're going to pick a brand new car. They're going to pick a car that had less miles. They're going to pick a car that hasn't been around the track. They're going to pick a car that has been less laps, if you will. They might pick a virgin if they possibly could. If you got that type of money, you're going to pick a virgin. Now, are you upset with the picker? But are you right that he wants somebody he can mold? If you was 70 years old, he would want to mold you. That's a part of a man's nature. He wants you to be like him. Period. He wanted to be like, when they see you, they be like, man, that's the same thing your husband would have said. You and your husband just like, y'all just like each, you know, and you might become a little bit like her, but it's the same talk that people talk. Yeah, y'all just like each other. That's the same thing that person, and they can't get in between
the bond.
That bond, because you do become like one. But age, when it comes to do with age, that has already been technically proven that the average man is between 23 and 25 when they running that type of money. Now, if they was already with a woman that they was already with, that's different. They was already with her. They loved and established. Different things have established. They already care about that woman. They gonna see that woman like that 23-year-old. But a man freshly picking at that time, you know, even the polygamy lifestyle. When a woman picks another woman, she picks a 23. She don't pick her age, because she ain't trying to jump around like that girl.
She's not trying to have any more babies.
It's a whole different reason why this person is actually being picked. But some other things was being said, you know.
Well, to say that a guy would pick somebody, a 40-year-old would pick somebody in their 20s because they're hiding insecurities, that is not always the case. And I would say, just based on what I've seen, right? Sometimes it's somebody their age may not be maybe as adventurous. You know what I'm saying?
Adventurous. You said it right.
So it's many different factors, but it doesn't always come down to that male's insecurity. I mean, I know people, like I know a couple, 25 and he's 52, but the 25-year-old acts maturer than he does. But they've experienced a lot together because she's open-minded. He still has that, he has a lot of energy. He's adventurous, so they complement each other.
And you got 25-year-olds that are conscious, and they'll have more knowledge than a 45-year-old woman, because they just took the time to develop this information, and they're not so one solid. They real balanced,
right?
But you got some men that are insecure. right?
True.
They are insecure, but they'll pick you at any age. They insecure. They want you to be like this at any age. They can't have no conversation. They definitely can't have a debate.
Right.
They have no knowledge because they don't want to study. You know, they Google analysts too, so it's like they don't go no further than that. So they can't have a conversation. It can't be no dialogue. You know, so that might be where they run into that. Run into a guy that would pick somebody 20 that maybe don't have the ability to actually dialogue with these people. But on the average, the average man, even if he's 70, 23 to 25, he don't see that 23-year-old as a child. He just don't. And if you look in your books, if you look in the Bible, or you look in the Quran, they didn't see them 23-year-olds as kids. And they might have been way up in age. You know, so this is something to look at.
It's something to look at, but I think we can't just put everybody in the same category. You know, it's for different reasons. You know, sometimes you could be attracted to someone and not necessarily know their age. I mean, and even if I use my scenario from last year, I dated someone my age, but he wasn't as well versed as I was, and so when he tried to have deep conversations and then I add my input to it, then he would end by saying, yeah, you said it, because he couldn't go no further. Right? So I mean, I think it's variables to that. I think we can't look at something and say, oh, this person's insecure, although there are a lot of insecure men and women. And so even in the case of women, you know, sometimes some women are so strong-minded, right? That they're looking for a guy that they can mold and boss
See,
around.
that's another thing. I think sometimes,
let's be fair.
I think sometimes we done crossed roads. And what you're looking for is a woman actually looking for a woman. Like you don't need a husband, you need a woman.
And the man?
But because you really don't know that you're acting, the stuff you're saying is what a man would say.
Right, exactly. Because again, you've lost the understanding of your assignment.
That's right.
Yeah.
You lost your feminines, which made you to the point where you want what a man wants. Like say, it's when a woman say, I'm educated, right? I got my own money. I bring a lot to the table. And you ain't named one thing that a man wants.
Right.
You ain't named one thing. But the reason why you think you did, because that's what a woman wants. An intelligent man that got money.
But I think a lot of times when women say that, I think it's for not so much that we just want the guy to understand that we can help you.
Yeah.
Maybe the way we communicate that might not be in the greatest context.
Yes.
You know. But we're just trying to say, listen,
everybody don't speak like you.
I can be your helpmate. That's what we're trying to say, but our delivery is jacked up.
And the delivery is not yours. This delivery came out from, you know, the whole feminist movement. And, you know, like they touched on that on the show too. You know, we didn't get to go to that part. But they kind of like blame the feminist movement for a lot of the stuff. And if you take it back, that's where all of it is.
Yeah.
You know, but besides the role reversal, the feminist movement did a whole bunch of damage to our community.
Oh, absolutely.
And got us cuckoo for cocoa nuts and got us communicating crazy.
Yeah.
But just that we could get that much dialogue from parts of their show.
It's a good show.
Just to let you know, their show is worth watching. So y'all make sure y'all check out She's Not Trending.
Yes.
4:30, 5 o'clock now.
Okay.
On Sundays. Every Sunday on 5 o'clock. And if you miss any of them, go to the Coyote Man Show Network app or go to the website of Coyote Man Online. I'd like to thank you, Uncle Sheldon, for being a part of this show. I'd like to thank you, Jackie the Soul. I'd like to thank Soji Lucy for engineering the show and actually being a part. And we'd like to thank She's Not Trending for giving us all this information. Y'all better check out the show. I'm watching it every week.
it was good. It was really